going to read you a book all about weather today. So this book was written by Catriona Clarke, and it was designed by Andrea Slane, and it was illustrated by Kang Chen. Weather. The table of contents. This book has a lot of information in it. Rain or shine. The weather can be sunny, rainy, windy, or snowy. Every kind of weather is happening somewhere in the world right now. This is a snowstorm in New York. What is weather? The weather is caused by three main things: heat, water, and air. The sun gives out heat, which warms the earth. Water makes clouds and rain. It also makes hail, fog, and snow. Air is always moving around. That is what makes the wind blow. The earth is wrapped in a thick blanket of air called the atmosphere. This is where the weather happens. From space, the atmosphere looks like a hazy blue ring around the earth. The white swirls are clouds. Water on the move. Water is always moving between the sea, the air, and the land. This is called the water cycle. 1. The sun warms the water in the sea and turns it into an invisible gas. 2. The gas rises and turns into tiny droplets of water, making clouds. 3. The tiny droplets bump into each other and join together to make bigger droplets. And 4. When the drops of water become heavy enough, they fall as rain. 5. Rivers carry the rainwater back to the sea, and the water cycle begins again. It says the rain that falls on you may have fallen on a dinosaur millions of years ago, because the cycle goes around and around. Clouding over. Different types of clouds mean there will be different kinds of weather. Puffy white, cumulus clouds usually mean that good weather is coming. Stratus clouds cover the sky, and this means there might be a fog or a drizzle. Wispy cirrus clouds high in the sky mean rain or snow may be coming later. And a big cumulonimbus cloud means that there may be a thunderstorm. When tiny water droplets form close to the ground, this is called fog or mist. It says this is the Golden Gate Bridge in California. It is foggy there most of the time. Ice crystals. When the air is very cold, the water in clouds freezes to make tiny ice crystals called snowflakes. Most snowflakes have 6 points. No two snowflakes are ever exactly the same shape. This is what snowflakes look like when they are put under a microscope. Icicles form in snowy weather when the sun shines onto snow on roofs or trees. The snow melts down. Water drips down into the cold shade where it freezes. The more water slowly drips down and freezes, forming lots of icy fingers. Electric skies. Thunderstorms happen when a cumulonimbus cloud forms in the sky. Strong winds inside the cloud swirl rain, snow, and hailstorms up and down. This makes electricity build up. It escapes down to the ground as flashes of lightning. Lightning sometimes hits trees and buildings on its way from the cloud to the ground. Thunder is the sound that lightning makes when it heats up the air around it. This type of lightning is called forked lightning. You always see lightning before you hear thunder because light travels faster than sound. Great balls of ice. Hail forms inside giant thunderclouds, so you often get hailstorms at the same time as thunder and lightning. 1. Water droplets get blown up to the top of the cloud by gusts of air. 2. The droplets freeze and they drop down and a layer of water forms around them. 3. The hail is blown up to the top of the cloud again and the layer of water freezes. This happens again and again until the hail gets too heavy and falls from the sky. It says if a hailstone is cut in half, its layers look a bit like those in an onion. This is the biggest hailstorm ever. It fell in Nebraska in 2003. It is shown here at just over half its actual size, so it's twice as big as this. Wild wind. Wind is moving air. It happens when hot air rises and cold air rushes in to take its place. The strength of the wind is measured on a scale from 1 to 12. A force 2 breeze dries the clothes on a clothesline. A force 5 wind blows the leaves from the trees. A force 9 wind is a severe gale. It can blow tiles from roofs. A force 12 wind is a hurricane. It can destroy houses. A hurricane begins when hot air rises quickly over the sea and starts to spin. This causes a violent storm with heavy rain. When a hurricane reaches land, huge waves and strong winds batter the coast. And it says here, the ancient Greeks believed that the wind was the breath of the gods. Terrible twisters. Tornadoes are violent whirling winds. They are sometimes called twisters. A tornado is like a giant vacuum cleaner. It sucks things up from the ground. 1. The air inside a thundercloud slowly begins to spin around and around. 2. The air spins faster and faster and the cloud begins to change shape. 3. Warm air is sucked up into the cloud. It becomes shaped like a funnel. 4. The cloud touches the ground and as it moves, it destroys everything in its path. Twisters can sometimes suck fish and frogs out of ponds. Weather and scientists. Scientists measure the weather and then tell us what they think the weather will be like. Wind, speed, and rain are measured at weather stations all over the world. Special planes fly into clouds to measure how much water is in them. Satellites in space take pictures of clouds and storms on Earth. Weather balloons are sent high into the sky to measure the air temperature. And the scientists put together all this information to make a weather forecast. The white swirling cloud below is a hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean. Some people think that cows lie down when it's about to rain. So a forecast is like a prediction. It's like what they think will happen based on all of the information they gather. Animal magic. Weather doesn't just affect people, it affects the way animals behave too. For example, the fur of a snowshoe hare changes from brown to white for the winter. The hare can't be spotted in the snow by eagles that hunt it. Some animals, like dormice, sleep through the long cold winter. This is called hibernation. When it gets colder, a dormouse eats lots of fruits and seeds. Then it makes a snug nest underground or in a tree and goes to sleep. 6 months later, it wakes up ready for the summer ahead. It says every year some birds fly a very long way to escape the cold winter weather. That's called migration. Some animals hibernate, some animals migrate. Hot and cold. Some places have such extreme weather that not many people or animals live there. The Sahara Desert in Africa is one of the hottest and driest places on Earth. Camels can live here because they can survive without water for a long time. Antarctica is the coldest place in the world. Penguins are one of the few animals that are able to live there. They huddle close together to keep warm in the winter. It says, under the hot sun, desert rocks become so hot you could fry an egg on them. Weird weather. In some parts of the world, the weather makes odd things happen. Some people think that strange clouds like this one look like spaceships. It's called a lenticular cloud. They usually form near mountains. And red raindrops sometimes fall from the sky. Wind picks up red sand from African deserts and carries it across the sea. The sand mixes with droplets of water in the clouds to make the red rain. So here is the lenticular cloud. And it says a hailstone with a turtle inside once fell from a thundercloud in Mississippi. That's interesting. Heating up. Many scientists think that the Earth's atmosphere is slowly getting warmer. The air in the atmosphere acts like a blanket to keep the Earth warm. When fuels like oil and coal are burned, lots of gases are released into the air. The atmosphere is getting warmer because the gases trap heat from the sun. If the Earth gets warmer, the weather will change. In cold places, ice and snow would melt and could cause massive floods. Hundreds of years from now, all this ice might have melted. It says animals add to the gases released in the air. Look at the picture to figure that one out. Here's the glossary of the terms we've learned. A droplet is a tiny drop of water. Water droplets join together to make clouds. Ice crystals are a frozen drop of water. Snowflakes are ice crystals. Lightning is a flash of light from a thundercloud. Hailstones is a lump of ice formed inside a thundercloud. Hurricane is a fierce storm. These are also known as typhoons or cyclones. Weather station is a place where scientists measure the weather. And weather forecast is a report about what the weather is going to be like. Hope you enjoyed our book about weather.